What's up, guys? Welcome to the Stats Free Sports channel. Let's get right into it. Here to bring you an NFL trade prediction video on current Titans quarterback Will Levis. I believe he'll be traded this offseason to the Los Angeles Rams. I also delve into other teams he could be traded to if the Rams and the Titans can't come to a deal for Will Levis. So let's get into it, guys. So before we start with anything else, why the Rams, about any other team that could want Will Levis, the question on the board first off is, does Will Levis hold value? And I think it's a resounding yes. And in a QB class like this, in a class I don't love at all, I like Shador, and that's about it for me personally. I've been saying this from day one. Not a Cam Ward fan. Respect them, respect all these guys, but I'm not a big fan of this QB class at all. But especially later on, third, fourth, fifth round guys, the Will Howards, or Riley Leonards, guys of that ilk, I'm not super high on. I would rather have a guy like Will Levis, formerly a guy like Sam Darnold before he popped with the Vikings, Baker Mayfield before he popped with the Bucks. I would rather take a reclamation project like those guys, which Will Levis will be once he gets officially moved on from. 25 years old, a lot of starting experience, 5 and 16. So he's played over a full season as far as starting goes, and he's had flashes of playing well, and we all knew he wasn't a clear-cut ready prospect from day one, but we thought he had. But he has shown the tools, the big arm, the big plays, throwing and running. He's had some shots of brilliance, also some shines, a lot of shines of just terrible play. But I would rather have that, knowing you have experience, than going with the guy I'm not really loving at all, like a Riley Leonard, Dylan Gabriel, so on and so forth. Some guys in that third through sixth round draft range to be my backup. So that takes me to the Rams now. I've been knowing the Rams heavy about getting, not just me, everybody in the whole world. You have to find a successor for Matthew Stafford at some point. I did a video. I was loving the move of Joe Milton potentially going there. I did a video on it. And right after that, he went to the Cowboys. But there were rumors that other teams wanted Milton, but for some reason, and I respect it, but for some reason that the Patriots did what's best for Milton and not for the team. And the rumors were there were better offers out there. The teams will never announce who the teams were that had better offers than the Cowboys. But like I said, the Patriots allowed him to choose the best spot for him, and I think he chose well. Dak's situation is really weird with the Cowboys, but let's get back on topic. I was on Milton with the Rams, long story short. Didn't pan out, but I'm really loving Will Levis. He is a light version, a very light version, a very off-brand version of Matthew Stafford, who came out of Georgia all them years ago, 100 years ago now, super old, been in the league for a long time, still playing well. But he gives you similarity. If you squint your eyes hard enough, you can see a young Matthew Stafford, kind of, sort of, in Will Levis. Big arm, a little bit of mobile, can change arm angle and trajectory throw trajectories, throw arm angles, all that stuff. He can do it all. That Matthew Stafford can do as well. But he's just not as polished as Stafford was, and that's something that he has to learn. So Sean McVay, we know the system, we know the coach. Awesome job there. Everything's great. I think, and as we all would think, any young quarterback that's worth their salt, that has tools and talent, can sit behind Stafford and learn. That's why I said Milton. You can throw some other names in there as well, Malik Willis, and so on and so forth. A bunch of guys can be reclamation projects for the Rams, but I think Will Levis makes the most sense. He has the traits. If you like Stafford, you will most likely, just as far as tools go, you should like Levis. They're the same type of thing, just Levis is a lot younger. So that's my take on that. As far as the Rams go, I would rather get Levis if I'm the Rams, if I instead of Riley Leonard, Will Howard. Those guys are cool. You have Stetson Bennett, you have Jimmy G, but a guy like Will Levis will give you hope. If McVay, and also give McVay something to the future to look forward to. Like, I have a project here that when Stafford goes, let's keep Levis around and let's see what he has. If you can get him right, you're good for a couple years, 5 to 6 years, if you can get him on the right track. But always a big if. You never know how guys might pan out. He not a bust, but he's a reclamation project for a reason. He didn't pan out where he went to at first, which is Tennessee Titans. But I do like the move. Now on to some alternative options. The New Orleans Saints. They are in the mix for a quarterback via draft and or free agency. Derek Carr's future is up in the air. And the funny thing is, I had a video earlier this year, way earlier, like around January, that I said the Titans would skip out on quarterback, bring in Travis Hunter, and they would trade for Derek Carr and then swap him for Will Levis. I said that in a whole video back in January. It didn't happen, but funny thing is, I had Derek Carr going to the Titans and Levis going to the Saints anyways. But now, I'm not too big on it. I think it makes sense though if Carr's out for an extended amount of time. I like what's the kid name from South Carolina? Shucks, I did a video on him not too long ago, but their current second string guy, what's his name? Rattler. I like Rattler. If you bring in Levis, trade for him, and you have him battle Rattler, I'm not opposed to it, but I just don't love. I don't love Levis playing right now. I just don't. I would rather have him sit. If I'm Levis, look, and just if I'm his camp, right, I would rather sit for a year or two and learn. Get the time, and that's my biggest thing. Guys have to learn to be a quarterback. Everybody shouldn't be expected to hit on day one. Learn for a full year. If you have a real investment in a player, invest in him. Take him away from the football field. Make him the third string, fourth string, whatever you gotta do. Don't even dress him out, ever. I don't care who gets hurt. Invest in them. Let them learn. And then when they're ready, mentally, physically, then you bring him on. But, going with the Saints, he could beat out a Spencer Rattler. We don't know what the quarterback style Kellen Moore likes. So bringing him in now, playing with that team, high expectations, maybe, it could further damage Levis more. So I'm not with it, honestly, but you never know what may happen. Pittsburgh Steelers, super desperate team as well. I would like it, but not for right now. Same thing. Levis probably beats out Rudolph in a quarterback competition, but you have guys DK Pickens. You're gonna need someone accurate and Levis and consistent. Levis is not that for right now. Long term, if you want to have Levis sit for a year or two, then bring him up. Okay, now let's try it out. But right now, no, because Levis should beat out Mason Rudolph. So I'm not loving it. The New York Jets. This is interesting, though. You bring in Levis to battle Fields, who got a 2-year, $40 million deal. Fields should win that. I think Fields will win that. But I'm not a big believer in Fields anymore like I used to be. Can Fields hold that job all year long? We'll see. But Levis could find a spark maybe halfway through the year if Fields gets a letdown or get injured or whatever, gets benched. I'm not opposed to that, but still, like I said, he's going to be playing this year. Most likely, I don't think Fields can hold that job all year long. I hope he does. I hope everyone does. As far as what I'm talking about, everyone plays great, but it's not realistic. I don't think Fields is a long-term guy there. Clearly, they don't think so either. With 2 years, $40 million, he's just a placeholder. But bringing in Levis right now, the battle Fields should win, but Levis probably will get a start or two in there. I wouldn't hate it, but I wouldn't love it either. But that's not a bad option. The New York Jets, excuse me, the Minnesota Vikings. Heck no, you do not. Excuse me, you do not want two young quarterbacks battling it out. That's what I thought was terrible with Malik Willis and Will Levis all those years ago with the Titans. You don't want McCarthy and Levis, and it's not even a competition thing. It's just like it doesn't make sense. Go get a veteran. Go get a Ryan Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers, so on and so forth. Don't go get Will Levis. That makes no sense to me. So I'm gonna skip that quick. No, heck no, heck no. And then the Rams. I say yes. That's it for me, man. Rams, Jets are my yeses. And the Jets are pushing it, but I don't mind that because Fields should win out. He will sit for the first half. But the Vikings, it makes no sense to me. You want a good backup that's a veteran. The Saints, I think Will Levis could beat out Spencer Rattler. Could possibly. And I don't want him playing right away. Steelers, heck no, makes no sense. He's gonna run. He will literally run Pickens out of the building unless he plays great. And throws his way. And I don't know what Levis might do. Levis is a wild card. He's a wild boy. He has some wild low lights. He had some wild low lights last season, man. So I don't want him starting, and that's the thing. So Jets and the Rams to me make the most sense. If Stafford goes down, hopefully he doesn't. I'm saying if he does, he might have a spot start here and there, but if he doesn't, even if he does, Jimmy G is there as well. Like I said, if you don't trust Will Levis at all, don't even dress him out. Just let him sit and learn and invest in him. Time, equity. People got to understand that people aren't really doing that as much as they used to do, and they never really. They've been a long time since teams do that, but like you have to invest in your guys, man, and just throwing them out there to the wolves in a new system, new scheme, new teammates right away, it makes no sense. So Levis should not start this year, and if he does, then I hope the best for him. But I think he'll be a journeyman until he can sit and learn and have someone else believe in him long term to invest and sit him and just let him learn. But until that happens, I don't really have a high hopes for Will Levis. But you never know; things may change. I might be wrong. I could be off here. But yeah, I don't want Levis starting, and that's plain and simple. Start 2026, 2027. But right now, just sit back and learn. Sit back and relax. Sit back and learn the game. Sit back and learn your new scheme and team and staff, and just learn to be an efficient, consistent player. That's it for the video, guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.